As the gubernatorial elections in Edo and Ondo states draw ever closer, we take a closer look at the gladiators, the umpire and the beautiful bride, that is the electorate. Efforts to boost local industries and the albatross of the scarcity of funds. Plus, Nigeria's Akinwumi Adesina gets rumps home again for another 5-year term at the African Development Bank. African leaders give him marching order on economic development strategy post-COVID-19. We have these and other issues to discuss on today's edition of Political Update. I am Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Welcome. Nigeria's former Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, has won election for a second term of 5 years as President, African Development Bank. This is coming as Nigeria and other African nations challenged the management of the bank on social and economic development strategy post-COVID-19.
This is the first time the African Development Bank is holding its annual general meeting virtually in compliance with COVID-19 protocols. The general meeting coincides with the time the bank is due to elect another president. Akinwumi Adesina of Nigeria presented himself for the election in which he was the sole candidate. He was endorsed by the governing board and returned elected. Adesina, the first Nigerian to hold the post of the bank's president, expressed his readiness for the vital work ahead.
With the pandemic, Africa has lost over a decade of economic growth. Africa's recovery will be long and difficult. Now we must help Africa to build and to build back boldly, but smartly, paying greater attention to quality growth, health, climate, and the environment.
Before the re-election of Akinwumi Adesina, he was confronted with an allegation of what was described as whistleblower on issues relating to the bank's policy and integrity. The governing board of the bank exonerated the AFDB president from all the allegations leveled against him and declared him free to contest his second term in office. Other stakeholders of the bank, including past African leaders, are emphasizing that based on the principles governing the bank, no nation has the power to remove the president or any director of the bank.
I believe that a successful virtual annual meeting and the election of the president will send a strong signal to the world and regional member countries that the African Development Bank remains a strong and stable bank that will continue to partner with the continent in its developmental efforts, particularly at this time of global uncertainty and severe challenges.
President Alassane Ouattara of Cote d'Ivoire challenged the governing board of the AFDB to come up with ambitious policy towards improving the socio-economic well-being of the people, which were disrupted by coronavirus pandemic.
The Council of State has formally ratified the grant of presidential pardon to 45 Nigerians in line with the recommendations of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy. Let's hear the details.
Holding for the first time in nearly 19 months, the well-attended meeting of the Council of State was convened by President Muhammadu Buhari to seek the advice of members in the exercise of his powers. Former President Goodluck Jonathan joined the President in the Executive Council chambers for the meeting alongside Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Senate President Ahmed Lawan, and few members of the Council. Other former Nigerian leaders, present and former Chief Justices of Nigeria and the 36 state governors participated online from across Nigeria. And in line with the constitutional dictates and requirements, the Council approved a memo on the presidential pardon granted to 45 Nigerians.
2 inmates were presented for pardon, 39 inmates for clemency, and 4 ex-convicts for presidential pardon.
The beneficiaries include the late Professor Ambrose Ali, former governor of the defunct Bendel State. The council, the minister said, also approved the appointment of 2 legal practitioners, Namoso Ekanem from Akwa Ibom State and Mahmoud Abubakar Mogaji from Niger State as members of the Federal Judicial Service Commission. Also approved for appointment were Nasir Isa Kwara and 11 others as chairman and members of the National Population Commission, subject to confirmation by the National Assembly. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Boss Mustafa, updated the Council members on the national response to the coronavirus pandemic.
We received a commendation that our response is well coordinated, is robust, and the level of engagement with the subnationals and other critical stakeholders. This is one response that has attracted even the review of the international community. We will not relent in our efforts as members of the Presidential Task Force, but we will continue in an accelerated manner.
The National Security Advisor, Babagana Mungno, who briefed the Council on the general security situation in the country and efforts at mitigating the challenges, announced the approval for the establishment of the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons to be domiciled in his office.
This center will provide the strategic framework for containing the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, especially those coming from across our borders within the sub-region and also those coming in through the maritime environment. And I want to reassure you that a lot is being done in conjunction with other entities of government to deal with problems that I may not mention here.
Already, he said, President Buhari has approved continued recruitment into the armed forces and the police, increased state-of-the-art equipment procurement that will serve the force multipliers, and also ordered better synergy and collaboration within the security agencies. The Council was also briefed on the state of the nation's economy as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and drop in oil prices.
And the current coordinated efforts of the federal government to contain the COVID-19 pandemic, and especially the 2.3 trillion naira economic stimulus plan, would reposition the economy on a sustainable path of rapid recovery.
Even though our resources are scarce, but I think we are facing the right direction, and for us in the National Assembly, we will continue to approve good policies of government, especially when it comes to areas that will touch the lives of the most ordinary man to help him survive this situation and even do better after the COVID situation.
The National Assembly, he said, is impressed with what has been achieved so far in keeping the economy afloat.
Opportunities in Africa and Nigeria after the considerable damage done by COVID-19 to our economy forms part of our conversation today, and Dr. Chris Akomas, former Deputy Governor of Abuja State, joins us now. Thank you very much for joining us after a while on the show. Let's start from this, the first story now. Dr. Akomas additional has another 5 years, but there surely is a huge challenge for the continent at this moment. First, there's a vote of confidence on his first 5 years, but the continent right now is faced with, so many things, especially the considerable damage, done by COVID-19.
Thank you for having me. Yes, it's been a while because of exigencies, but I am here today. Thank you. Talking about Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, I am so grateful to God for a number of reasons. People may not know that Nigeria was actually the name and the integrity of the country was on trial when all those allegations against Dr. Adesina was, being pushed and all that. But for someone like me, Dr. Akinwumi was my colleague in NTA. I was a research admin manager when he joined as a postdoctoral fellow, and we both worked in the Resource and Crop Management division of the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, and he was one of those eggheads when you talk of the economic activities and research, agricultural economics, he was based in our Cameroon sub-station. So we worked closely. For those of us that have known him for some time, we were worried that somehow, somewhere, somebody is trying to rubbish a good man. Wonderful. Akinwumi has always been a first-class material and first-class in everything he does. Anything Akinwumi puts his hands, he gives it his best and comes out with very strong, positive result. He's a change agent, a natural change agent. So for me, I congratulate Dr. Adesina Akinwumi. I congratulate Nigeria and indeed Mr. President and all those that supported him and made sure that the truth came out. But most importantly, I congratulate Africa because another 5 years of Dr. Adesina Akinwumi is very good for Africa, will be very good for Africa because this is a man that has always been focused and result-oriented person, and achieving results is like his second name. So for me, it's a good thing. And coming at this time, you know, that we are talking of the post-pandemic.
Yes, trying to recover from. Yes.
So I'm so happy that he has been re-elected, and I'm so proud of him, and as a Nigerian, that the moves did not rubbish us. So I'm grateful and I congratulate him and thank all those.
Yes, African leaders, you saw Alassane Ouattara of Cote d'Ivoire there also speaking, and leaders across the continent, including Nigeria, have taxed the AfDB to look at ways of helping other nations in terms of advice, in terms of helping key sectors of the economies to begin to, tackle the effects of, COVID-19. Where do we start on the continent? Is it a Greek? What are the low-hanging fruits?
One thing you can be sure of is that whatever program and projects Akinwumi and the bank will support under his, watch would have a lot for agriculture. He is grounded, he's knowledgeable, his network in agriculture is solid and firm, and I'm sure Africa will have a lot to gain doing more of agriculture than any other thing. And Akinwumi is a man with the ideas, and now thank God for the position that gives him the opportunity to push and get that done. So you can be sure, amongst every other thing, he did say in some of his speeches, agriculture, improving infrastructure, the infrastructural deficit that we have in certain areas. And I think those areas that he has focused in the last 5 years, we will give more impetus. I expect that the bank will give more impetus to it, and then now taking into account the things that has to do with the post-pandemic, they will expand and bring in new ideas. Like I said, he's an ideas man, and not just being an ideas man that is also good in implementing. He's good in execution. In terms of concept and actualities. All right, let's come to local politics now. The gubernatorial election in Edo State is almost close enough to touch, and the gladiators are leaving nothing to chance. In the past few days, it has become a case of word-to-word and door-to-door campaigns.
The All Progressives Congress, APC, has taken its campaign to all the wards of Onwa East local government area and the 12 wards in Isako West local government area to canvass the people's support at the grassroots. Party faithful in Agbede, South Ibi and Auchi turned out en masse to welcome the APC flag bearer as he explains his simple agenda manifesto to the people.
to achieve everybody must vote APC. Don't allow anybody to deceive you. Don't be somebody that God brings more money, even if they're 5,000, even if they're 10,000. 10,000 when you keep back 4 years. And if you don't give me 10,000, you can vote for me or 5,000. No. They will not be able to do anything for the people. We're not a government that will do something.
The former national chairman of the APC, Adams Oshomole, and other party leaders say the party is fully set for victory come September 19, as they urge the people to vote for the party.
We build a hospital for a government that says it believes in national development and woman power. The hospital has been equipped, but this man will not open the hospital.
The simple agenda, which is an acronym for security and social welfare, infrastructural development. The people love him so well. And I have no doubt in mind that if for Pastor Osagi is a Yamu, most of the things people are complaining about, electricity, bad road, and the likes, he will do them.
Meanwhile, the PDP's tour to some wards in Ovia Northeast is the first in the series to Edo South Senatorial District. The PDP candidate, Governor Godwin Obaseki, says the election is about moving Edo forward, adding that he is the best man for the job. He told the people that President Muhammadu Buhari has assured him that the election will be free and fair.
I want to promise you today that I have done the design. This whole road, you see where we came from now, that road, I will do it. I have also approved that we will give more money to your vigilantes so that you can go back to your farm and farm in peace.
At a session with the Enogi of Obazwa, His Royal Highness Edun Akenzua listed the infrastructural challenges faced by his clan and appealed to the PDP candidate to address them if he clinches victory at the September poll.
Awareness is probably the least developed area in the state. And we are happy that the governor himself is everything mentioned all that. We are praying, we are all praying, and we hope that after the election, we will be able to come again to the governor, either at the government house or somewhere, to request him to look at the problems in Abuja.
The word-to-word tour continues. In Benin, Obehi Otoba Presai, NTA News.
Promises from the podium there. The chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, says the commission is greatly concerned by some statements and actions as well as excesses of some of the political actors and their supporters in the build-up to the governorship election in the state on the 19th of next month.
Top on the agenda is his meeting with the Interagency Consultative Committee on Security, which held behind closed doors.
The security agencies have assured us that they are going to be professional and neutral in the management of the forthcoming elections.
He has also led his team to the Palace of the Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty Ewa II, to seek blessing for a peaceful exercise and in recognition of the importance of the traditional institution in peace building. He told the monarch that 10 activities on schedule for the election have been successfully carried out, and the 4 outstanding ones are publication of the notice of poll, submission of names of polling agents, end of campaigns, and date of election, and that any acts that can truncate the process will not augur well for the state. The Oba of Benin believes that although the level of anxiety is high, there is no reason under any guise to heat up the polity.
The current system of 4 years is going to keep on remaining. I think the advice I want to give to the political parties is that perhaps they consider having what is called unwritten constitution.
The INEC chairman is expected to meet with electoral officers and undertake a tour of some local government INEC offices.
Just a little over a week and counting to the Edo State gubernatorial elections. It's a bit tense in that state at the moment. His Royal Majesty the Obaiwa II is also appealing for calm, and you've seen the run-up to these elections. Are you satisfied with the tone in terms of the campaigns so far?
You know, what we say and how we say it matters a lot. The issue here has to do with power. It's contest for power. But the approach to seeking that power is very important. I'm happy that they are able to campaign. The fact that they are able to go around campaigning means that the election will hold, and hold peacefully too. You know, when you are contesting for power, a lot come to play. However, I must caution that the gladiators, especially the two candidates of APC, Pastor Ezeyamu, and the PDP candidate, Governor Basaki, should be mindful of their language, the words they use, because they are speaking at a level. They have followers. The understanding of those followers is what causes the tension that people are experiencing. But I have, over the years, also observed the elections, especially being one of those elections that come off the normal general elections. They tend to do a lot of this, whoa, I will beat you, I will show you, I will do this. Then when it's time for the fight, you see everybody just go home. So I believe and I hope that is what they will do. They should not go beyond all these things, because they are marketing themselves. The language you use in marketing yourself also matters. So if in marketing yourself you are threatening people, you are doing things, they will begin to wonder, if this person, and there is something here. There is a record for 4 years for people to check about the incumbent governor, what he has done and what he's promising them. This other person, his record is service outside government in a way, not to the level of governor. He has served at different distance, and people will be looking at how humble, how well he served in those positions, and how he is presenting himself now. So if one presents himself as somebody who wants to march and kill and do, people will say, so if we make this one governor again, are we going to? So I see a situation that, and I'm happy that the umpire, the INEC, is taking the necessary steps and also cautioning all parties and working with the security agencies. So I expect that with all these things about who was, at the end of the day, reasoning will prevail, and we will have a peaceful election that will give us fair and credible outcome.
Thank you very much. We've had Dr. Komas, former Deputy Governor of Abuja State, on the show. I wanted to talk about flooding, but no time. So next week we'll probably do that. That has been Political Update for today. I will come back, God willing, on Tuesday. Have a great weekend ahead.